Hey guys, what's going on? Derek here with another Line 6 Pod HD500 video. We're going through the amp models today, or for these couple of days I'm going to be doing all these. And today's offering, or this video's offering at least, is the Fender Bassman amplifier, the Tweed B-Man. Excuse me. The Fender Bassman amp is a pretty iconic amp throughout history for blues and rock and roll, and it's just got a really big tone to it, and it's actually started out as a bass amplifier, but guitarists found that they really liked the big boomy fat tone that they were getting out of it, and also the power that it had. So I want to demo the Pod's model of that, and again we're running through the normal channel. For those of you just tuning in that haven't seen my other videos, some standard settings I have on every single amplifier is I'm running it through a 212 PhD ported Dr. Z combo, cabinet with the SM57 on axis. The room is turned all the way down, and on the cab parameters, the only thing I've changed is the thump is all the way up, and on the amp parameters, the hum is all the way down. So, I've got a little bit of reverb going, just a little bit. I realized in the last couple of videos that I uploaded that I kind of went backwards in my setup. I had my headphones plugged into my mixer, not into my interface, and I was actually clipping my recording interface. So some of my videos have a little bit of fizz in them, and if it's a little too fizzy, I thought it was fine, but I'm not the one that's going to be watching it. So if you watch the video and you were personally offended by the amount of fizz in that video, let me know, and I'll happily, if I have enough people complain about it, I'll re-upload it. But it's like a 30-minute video. I don't want to do it again. But if it will help you to get the idea of the quality of the amp models, I'll be happy to do so. So anyway, the Fender Bassman. Very cool sounding amp model, and this is through the normal channel, not the bright. But it's a Fender amp, so of course it's pretty bright sounding. So anyway, how I was talking about earlier with the clipping the recording interface, my headphones are plugged into the interface now, so it should be less fizzy. And you should be getting a pretty strong signal. Hopefully this will fix the issue. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. Alright, so enough chit chat, let's get busy. Alright. So the Fender Bassman amp, you can see the tone controls. What's surprising is how much low end I have with the bass all the way off. I can bring in some bass, but it starts to get a little bit muddy. See, I like when I hit those lower strings and have a little bit of... I like a nice punchy low end, so... But the Fender Bassman, being a bass amplifier, has enough low end on its own, along with the thump controls with the cabinet. I get all the low end I want, so I don't like a lot of low end distortion, so... That's a pretty good balance. So... But as you can see the rest of it, the gain, or the drive, is at 35. The master is all the way up. We'll get to that in a second. But let's mess with this drive control for a little bit. Then we'll listen to what different guitars sound like through it. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I'm playing my Line 6 Variax 300 guitar using the VDI connection on the pod. And the pod's running direct to my mixer into a recording interface straight to your ears. And on everything, the EQ is set totally flat, so it's about the purest signal you could possibly get. I would record direct USB, but then I wouldn't be able to record my vocals, so I wouldn't be able to talk to you, which some of you probably would prefer, but sorry, that's just what you got. But for those of you who don't know much about the Vari-X, it actually has different guitar models in there, and it communicates with the pod because they're made by the same people, so they have different features that are unique only between the guitar and the pod. So right now I'm on a Strat model. And sounds pretty good. The gain's at 35 right now. Let's kick it up to 50. Let's see what we got going here. Okay, I didn't play that 100% right, but it's okay. And by the way, I would advise you, if you're going to crank up the gain on this, turning the bass down if you're wanting that a real clear bottom end. So that's with the gain at 50. Let's try the gain at 70. Might turn that presence down just a hair. Alright, now here it is at 100%. Yes, I play Christian music, but I play a little bit of rock and roll too. So anyway, I'm going to bring the gain back down to, I'll put it at 40 here, how that sounds. Alright, that's good enough to hear what the different guitars sound like. So on the Strat model, let's go through the different pickup positions so you can kind of hear what it sounds like if you've got a Strat style guitar. Now let's hear that with a Telecaster. Now the Les Paul. Alrighty. So that's a pretty good classic amount of gain for a Bassman type sound. Let's mess with this master volume here. This is a like your master volume on your favorite tube amp. The higher you crank it, the louder and bigger the things are going to sound, but also the more distortion and compression you're going to get. So let's hear it at about 50%. see the sound is really weak there. I can crank up the drive, and this is kind of like on a modern version of a Bassman that has a master volume. You can actually have the volume down while still having the right amount of gain that you want and be able to keep the volume under control. So, still kind of a weak sound. I'm going to bring the gain back down, and let's hear what it sounds like with a master at about 70 or so. I'm going to crank the drive back up. I don't know why that riff's in my head today, it just is. And bring the drive back down, and it just sounds best to me. On this particular amp, they would keep the master all the way up. So I'm assuming, I'm not very familiar with tube amps, so I'm pretty sure that's the rule with most of them. Anyway, let's mess with this sag control. So here's the sag control at 50, and I'm in a journey mood, so wanna. So let's hear the sag all the way down at 0. Let's hear the sag on 100%. And I kind of like the sag at about 50%. Sounds pretty nice. And now the hum control. Pretty much all it does. I don't know if it affects the tone of this amp or not, but yeah. So if you want a really low-end buzzing sound in your signal, and you want your sound man to kill you, then yeah, that's a cool knob to have, but otherwise, not so much. The bias and bias excursion, the last two in the amp parameters. Let's hear what it does. Let's see. I'll just go back to the lights riff again. I'm not really trying to play it perfect, I'm just playing it. So here is the bias at 0. And here's the bias at 100. I kind of like the bias. I might bring it down just a little bit. The bias control and the bias excursion kind of confuse me. They tend to do, they might have the same job for every amp model, but I find that they affect the amp models differently, or every amp model is affected differently by them. So you really just got to tweak them and find whichever one works for you. So I like the bias control at about there. And bias excursion, let's mess with that. So I'll just keep playing the lights riff just because, and here's how that sounds at 50% with the bias excursion. Here it is at 0. Excuse me. And here's the bias excursion on 100. I kind of like it right there, and that's what I want to keep it. In fact, I'm actually going to bring the gain up just a little bit. So anyway, that's the amp parameters. Let's listen to the cab parameters. So the low cut will come in handy if you've got a humbucker guitar or any guitar that's excessively bassy. So let's just hear it with the low cut basically bypass, where it's not really cutting any lows, and then we'll see if we can get some of this real low bassy stuff out. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm on a little bit of a journey kick today. So here it is at 130 hertz. Now, obviously, you would most likely tweak that or tweak the amp around that, meaning you would get the low cut set first, then EQ the amp, and it'll probably sound a lot better. I EQ'd it with the low cut off, basically, so that's why it sounds so funny. It sounds the way it does. So I just leave the low cut off. I don't really have anything that's just too excessively bassy. So anyway, at least when I'm playing the Les Paul in the neck position, I'm not playing down low, or at least very rarely am I. So I leave the low cut down. You can mess with it and see whatever works. If you got an extended range or a down-tuned guitar, that can really come in handy. Res level or resonance level. Again, not reading the manual, I would assume based on how it sounds, it's almost like how present or how loud the cabinet really is. At 50%, it's kind of like in a controlled environment, like the perfect happy medium. And at 1, it seems like it's almost in like a silent recording type deal, where it's like in an isolation cabinet. So let me put it at 50 so you can kind of hear the difference, and maybe you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm not crazy. And here it is at 0. Alright, and here's the resonance level at 100. Cover your ears, it gets loud. I'm not even going to dig into the strings because I'll blow up my earbuds. I'll turn that back down to 50. Alright, and thump. The thump parameter really comes in handy with this particular patch, especially since I have the bass off. But the thump kind of adds some sub-low frequencies post-distortion or post-amp. So it's not like if I were to turn the bass control up on an amplifier, because that's adding low-end distortion. I just want sub-frequencies giving me that... giving me that bottom end, that real deep, warm sound. But we can hear what it sounds like at 50%. This is what it comes with stock. And we can hear what the thump sounds like completely off. And that's another cool thing. If you've got a excessively bassy guitar, you can turn that down, and you can still have a nice bottom end to the sound, but it's not overpowering. But I mean, if you're in a studio environment, you go for what sounds best in the mix. Same goes for live, and I would recommend talking to your sound man. My sound man actually likes that low end in the guitar. He said it just makes it sound fuller because there's a broader spectrum of frequencies that's covering. So. And even though my guitar is coming back to me through little bitty earbud speakers, it doesn't sound like it's coming through little bitty earbud speakers. It has a nice big sound. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And last and definitely least, the decay. The decay, I can't really hear much of a difference that's making in the sound, so I don't really worry with that too much. But if you find a difference in the sound, man, tweak it and get the sound you want. That's all I can tell you. So let's mess with some overdrives and distortion pedals here. And usually I've been using the boost comp, but I found with this amp the Veta comp sounds really nice. So here is what it sounds like with it off. Here it is with it on. So it sounds nice. It's not really compressing the signal so much, it's just giving it a little bit of a boost. And let's hear it with a tube screamer. Turn that bass down. Sounds really nice. Let's hear it with the tube drive. Turn that drive down a little bit. And last but not least, the classic distortion. And again, I mean, as you can see, there's quite a few overdrives out there, or in there that you can choose from. I'm just kind of picking a few of them that I personally like. So, nice sounding thing. What more can I say? It's a great sounding amp model. I really enjoy it. The Fender Bassman is a classic amp tone, and you can really get a lot of different. You can cover a lot of ground with it. Everything from real clean country to blues, and even some classic rock. You know, with the right overdrive pedal, it can really sound really good. So that's it for today, at least for this video, and I really hope you enjoy these. I'm doing the best I can to present them to you in the best quality that I know how to do, and so I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're getting something out of them, and you know, the biggest thing is I want you all to be able to hear how good and how responsive the amp models are. So hopefully I'm I'm not being a hindrance to that with my sloppy playing, but I really hope you enjoy these, and I hope you learn a lot from them. So anyway, so that's the Fender Bassman, the Tweed B-Man. This is the normal channel, not the bright, but the normal channel. If you want to download this patch and all my other patches, you can go on the link in the info box, and you'll be able to check them out and download them onto your pod and tweak them to match your guitar. So anyway, this has been Derek Hegwood signing off. Thank you very much, and God bless you.